Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka hamidum majid. Okay, welcome to the video. Today we are doing a video on the name of the Quran that is al-Kitab. So al-Kitab, just as those of you who watch this channel know, is we go to Iqra.net, we look at these ayat. That's the methodology. We look at the name of the Quran, the translation, of course, and then these ayat. And so those tabs that you see up here are basically each one on Quran.com. I've already previously opened up. Of course, we're not going to go through all of these in this particular video, but we try to do basically one parentheses, or basically one ayah at a time, because we also discussed a little bit before and a little bit after, just to fully contextualize each ayah. But as we progress, we see a pattern in the usage of this name of the Quran. That's what always happens as we begin to progress further and further. We see a certain pattern emerge in the way that ayat, that name of the Quran, that ism of the Quran is used in the Quran repeatedly, no matter where it's used, and we see more and more complex patterns, and we try to explicate those and disclose those. So this one's more ambitious. I wanted to actually do the shorter, the ones that are not mentioned as often before in the Quran, just so I became accustomed to holding the patterns in my mind. Before this, we did Rahma, and Rahma only has 5 ayat. Now, the reason I chose to go from Rahma to Kitab is when we're discussing Rahma, we discovered something. Allah always, there's three triplets of asma-ul-Qur'an that seem to be associated with each other. So let me just name them quickly as a preface to us beginning the name al-Kitab. Okay, so Allah in one ayat repeatedly uses 3 names of the Quran as a triplet together in one ayat, and he does this multiple times throughout the Quran. So he uses al-Kitab, Hudan wa Rahmatan. He always qualifies wa Rahmatan with lil mu'minin, and one place he qualifies is with lil muhsinin. So Quran is Rahma for the believers, or it's Rahma for the muhsinin, the doers of good, right? Then in the same ayah, Allah says, but it begins with kitab, and kitab always has a different qualifier. It'll say something that this is the book with fusilan ala ilmin, right? The book in which Allah has detailed knowledge, given detailed knowledge, right? Or it'll say kitaban la rayba fi, the book without doubt, or it will say Kitabul Hikmah, right? So it will always have a different qualifier after, but it will always begin with Kitab, and Kitab will have a different qualifier. And even though the name of Kitab changes, the qualifier behind Kitab changes, the qualifier between Kitab and Hudan changes, the qualifier always has a similar meaning. It's either saying the same meaning in the positive, or it's saying it in the negative. It's the thing that makes ikhtilaf clear. It makes it bayyana, or it is the book with clear knowledge, or it removes doubt, or it doesn't have any doubt in it. You see, it's very similar meaning. It's either conveying the meaning through the negation of an attribute, or through the affirmation of knowledge or a different attribute, but it has the same meaning. Basically, it removes doubt, it makes knowledge, it gives knowledge, and knowledge is what removes doubt, and the knowledge is perfectly detailed and full and complete and perfect. So after this knowledge has come, there's no more room for ikhtilaf. This is the type of meaning that always comes after kitab, right? And Hudan is always by itself. So Kitab, the way we describe, then Hudan is always by itself, then Rahmatan, either for the Mu'minin or Muhsinin, right? So that's the first triplet that always occurs. So when we were going through these ayah, we always saw Kitab come up, right? We always saw Kitab come up with Rahmah. Almost always in all these ayat, Allah mentions Quran as Rahmah. He also mentions it as Al-Kitab. So it seemed natural to go here, but we always also discovered is a second triplet which is associated. Now in these, Allah always in one ayah names all three of these in the triplet together: Kitab, Huda, and Rahmat together. A second triplet is al-Haqq, al-Kitab, and al-Qur'an. These three names are also a triplet. They don't occur in the same ayat usually in the way that these three do, the first three do, but they occur together. They're mentioned together in various ways. Now, the ways they're mentioned together is a little complex, so I won't go into it as much detail, but just one thing is that the word mubin or bayyana comes with al-haq and it comes with kitab, but it only comes with Quran when it is al-Kitab wa al-Qur'anul mubin. So there has to be an and between Kitab and Quran, then Mubin will come, and it's not as often. It's only seen it once, right? So Mubin and Bayyana, the perfect clarity to make something perfectly clear is only with Al-Haq and Al-Quran. I mean Al-Haq and Al-Kitab, it is never with Quran. Now with Quran, Allah and Kitab, it's interesting. Allah will use the same qualifier between after Kitab and after Quran, but He will make, when Allah says Quran, He says things like hadathna and aksara, meaning it. One place He uses it that the Quran removes ikhtilaf for much of what Bani Israel is an ikhtilaf of. So aksara meaning most of, and hadathna meaning to tell, to narrate, right? But when Allah says in the same qualifier He uses for the kitab, He says bayyana. It makes clear what they were having ikhtilaf over, right? So what we see is steps of relativity or steps of absoluteness. So the most absolute usage is al-Haq. When the Quran is al-Haq, Allah's name, Allah Himself is al-Haq, and then He gives the Quran the name al-Haq. Right, so the al-Haq, when we talk about Quran, it is the highest aspect of the Quran is al-Haq, right? And even in the language Allah uses, it's the most absolute, right? Now, after the most absolute name, the second name that is the most absolute, which is the knowledge of Allah as distinct from Allah, right? There's al-Haq, Allah is al-Haq, Quran is al-Haq, and in that aspect, in that quality, Quran and Allah, Quran is uncreated kalam of Allah, and in that it's not separate from Allah. And being al-Haq, Quran is not separate. It is al-Haq and Allah is al-Haq, right? But when we come to al-Kitab, Allah is not al-Kitab. It is not an ism of Allah. Al-Kitab is not an ism of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Al-Kitab, but it refers to the knowledge of Allah in the highest, innermost, His ilm, the highest aspect of the Quran, the innermost meaning of the Quran, the ilm of the Quran in its absolute sense, the ilm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is Al-Kitab, right? And then there is Quran. Quran is the recitation. It is when I Iqra wa bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq, these sounds I'm making with my throat, this is Quran. The phonetic sound, the air that is passing from my lungs out and is coming to your ears through this recording, that sound is Quran, right? And so it is the most it's the most outward, it's the most zahir, it's the most manifest of these three. So Allah uses these three, especially Kitab and Quran, interchangeably. In fact, in some places in the Quran, you will see the word Quran instead of Kitab in the first triplet we discuss. Instead of Kitab, Hudan, Rahmatan, it will be Quran, Hudan, Rahmatan. But what we'll see is Kitab, Hudan, Rahmatan is always usually in one ayah. And when it will be Quran, Hudan, and Rahmatan, Quran will be in one ayah, and then immediately after, in the same order, in the same sentence, but in a different ayah, in a separate ayah, Allah will say Hudan and Rahmatan, right? But and also the qualifier on Quran there will be very similar to the qualifier on Kitab in other places in the Quran. So that's an introduction of why I chose to do the Kitab immediately after Rahmat, because in studying this we discovered that pattern. And I wanted to continue doing that. So, inshallah, I think this will be a good introduction to the series. So, instead of going on and actually discussing 212 in this video, I'm going to end it here and upload this as an introduction, and inshallah it will be titled correctly. But in the next video, we're going to start and we're going to discuss which one is it? We're going to discuss ayah Quran, the ayah 1 2. And inshallah I will see you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.